Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at 4 on this Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Mark is off today. Eric Franke is filling in.
I was wondering why I was here.
Thank you for your help.
Mark's taking the day off. A lot of people had the day off, right?
Yeah, a day of service for a lot of people. A lot of kids are off school today.
And honoring Dr. King's memory, of course, as well. There was a ceremony at the Capitol today. We'll profile that as well.
Yeah, so thanks for being here. I
no
appreciate
problem.
your help.
A little tough week for Packer fans after that loss yesterday.
This is like the saddest,
it's always
day
difficult,
of the year,
isn't it? When they
but it's hard
like
to be upset. It was such a great season.
More than I think most people expected, but they also probably expected a little better performance than being down 27-0 at halftime.
Yes, I know.
But
it was
we
really
move on.
That's right. What else can you do?
It.
What else can you do? Here's what's making news on this Monday. The Dane County Sheriff's Office needs your help solving a homicide last week near Blue Mounds.
And as we mentioned, people around the country and here in Madison as well, celebrating the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We will share some of the sights and sounds.
And lawmakers in Washington continue to prepare for the beginning of the Senate impeachment trial of President Trump. We'll have the latest from Washington.
Yeah, it was chilly yesterday in particular, where the wind was particularly early in the morning.
That's right.
It was unbearable.
Boy, but the sunshine makes such a difference.
Huge difference.
As a matter of fact, sunny and cold are the weather words today. Let's head out to the weather patio. Dana Fulton is watching the weather. Hi, Dana.
Hey, if you were okay with the weather today, I've got good news for your Tuesday. We're going to continue to see this nice pattern of some sunshine and a little cold January air moving on in. Here's a live look with our Edgewater Skycam in for a pretty quiet evening. Nothing new coming through on our radar. We're going to keep things pretty steady over the next several hours. We're not watching anything new sliding in until we get towards the end of the week. In fact, your commute home should be nice and smooth as far as the weather is concerned. Again, a partly sunny sky for the next few hours, or for the next about 30 minutes or so, I should say, because then the sun is going to set. It's going to stay cold overnight, but pretty quiet outside. Speaking of the roads, we'll take a quick look at how our traffic conditions are looking on our roadways right now as we look at the Beltline at Park Street. No major delays currently. East and westbound going along pretty smooth. Seems like there might be a little ice there around the camera. Getting things frozen. Now, the east and westbound of the Beltline are moving. No major accidents to report at this time. No delays downtown either. And as we look around Middleton, things should be pretty smooth this evening. Janesville, no delays. And the interstate, all nice and smooth. I think you guys are right. A lot of folks off work today, so we aren't dealing with the usual traffic. From Janesville to the Beltline will take you 24 minutes, 17 minutes to get from Sauk City to Middleton, and from Sun Prairie to downtown, about 14 minutes this evening.
All right, Dana, thank you very much. We'll get more a little bit later.
Thank you, Dana. First at 4, Dane County authorities continue to look for anyone with information related to a homicide last week near Blue Mounds.
Charlotte DeLeste joins us now with more on this investigation. Charlotte?
Eric and Susan, Dane County law enforcement officials are asking for anyone who may have seen something to come forward. Last week, Wednesday, the body of 26-year-old Nicholas Day was found off County Road JG near the border of Blue Mounds and Vermont. Initially, it was reported as a hit-and-run incident, but an autopsy revealed it was a homicide. Officials with the Dane County Sheriff's Office say any information could be relevant. It could help investigators develop a timeline of the incidents. If you have something you think could contribute to the investigation, you're asked to call the Dane County non-emergency line at 608-255-2345 or the Dane County Sheriff's Office tip line at 608-284-6900.
Charlotte, thank you. We now know the name of the person killed this weekend on Madison's west side. The Dane County Medical Examiner says Antonio Stidham of Chicago died Saturday afternoon after being shot inside an apartment building on Raymond Road and McKenna Boulevard. Police are still investigating the incident and have not named a suspect. Anyone with information related to the crime is asked to call the Madison Police Department.
Authorities in northeastern Wisconsin say a woman and her 3 children are dead after a house fire. Firefighters responded to that house early Friday morning. After the fire was put out, firefighters found the bodies of 35-year-old Catherine DeCourson and her children, 15-year-old Jerry Schrader, 13-year-old Dalton Schrader, and 11-year-old Nicholas DeCourson. That fire remains under investigation. Authorities say a woman has been arrested for drunk driving and threatening to kill an officer. 26-year-old Jacqueline Rowley of Monroe was arrested early Sunday morning in Spring Grove. Officers say they found her vehicle stuck in a roadside ditch. She is currently in the Greene County Jail awaiting an appearance in court.
Americans are pausing to mark the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday today, remembering the civil rights leader with ceremonies across the nation. With music and prayer, a crowd gathered at the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial in Washington. Madison. Members of Dr. King's family joined community leaders to lay a wreath marking a day of reflection and reconciliation. At a civil rights breakfast, Reverend Al Sharpton used the holiday to present Bill Clinton with an award for excellence in public service. And in Minneapolis, former U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder spoke about the work that the country must still do.
America as a nation has made much progress over the decades, but we are not yet at the place envisioned in our founding documents. The scars of our past can still be seen and felt, not only in this city, but in our nation as well.
At Pearl Harbor, the Navy is making history, announcing its next aircraft carrier will be named for World War II hero Dory Miller. He was the grandson of slaves, the son of sharecroppers, and received the Navy Cross for valor.
Meanwhile, a number of people spent their afternoon at the state capitol celebrating the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Our Danica Lewis has more from that event today and joins us now with the details. Danica?
Well, Susan and Eric, this was truly a celebration today with a clear message of service and dealing with injustice in our communities. Today's event at the Rotunda was filled with music from African-American artists, including full-blown gospel choir performances. Ollie Watts Davis was the keynote speaker. The distinguished professor of music at the University of Illinois spoke to Dr. King's tactic of implying what he called creative tension to expose injustice in dramatic ways, emphasizing that it's our responsibility.
Those born into privilege, those who hold position, and those voted into power must be willing to take a stand, to stand for justice. We must realize that we are in the places we're in, and we hold the positions we hold in order to serve our generation.
This is the 40th official state ceremony here in Wisconsin, making it the oldest of its kind in the entire country. Now, if you couldn't make it to the Capitol today, perhaps you were working like us, PBS will be airing a 1-hour highlights show tonight at 9.
Oh, good to know. Thank you, Danica.
Sure.
The president's legal team is filing a brief today that's ahead of the start of the Senate impeachment trial of President Trump. Natalie Brand has more details now from Capitol Hill.
The president's legal team is offering a preview of how they plan to defend President Trump during the Senate impeachment trial.
This is an entirely partisan and therefore illegitimate effort by House Democrats to remove a president from office.
The president's team filed a legal brief today saying the Democrats' charges of abuse of power and obstruction of Congress are not impeachable offenses. They also say the impeachment process was flawed and didn't allow the president to defend himself. And they claim Democrats were not seeking the truth, only looking to find a way to drive President Trump out of office.
Where is the crime? Low, medium, or high? Where is the crime? This is not Bill Clinton lying under oath to the grand jury in August of 1998.
House impeachment managers issued their own response, saying the Constitution allows the Senate to remove presidents who, like President Trump, abuse their power to cheat in elections, betray our national security, and ignore checks and balances.
Any jury would convict in 3 minutes flat that the president betrayed his country by breaking the law.
The Senate trial gets underway at 1 p.m. Tuesday, and the first order of business will be to debate and vote on a resolution outlining the rules of the trial. Democrats say they need to hear from 4 current and former administration officials who have information about the decision to hold up funding for Ukraine.
We are going to demand votes, yes or no, up or down, on the 4 witnesses we've requested and on the 3 sets of documents we requested.
President Trump responded on Twitter saying they didn't want John Bolton and others in the House. They were in too much of a rush. Now they want them all in the Senate. Not supposed to be that way. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
And while some Republican senators say they are open to witnesses, they remain united in saying they want to first hear opening arguments before proceeding to the question of witnesses.
Thousands of gun rights supporters gathered outside of the Virginia state capitol today, angry over new gun restrictions proposed by Democratic state legislators.
This is America. You will not take our guns. If you think you want to take them, we'll have a second revolution.
Tensions have been rising since Democrats took control of the state legislature and proposed several bills to limit handgun purchases and require background checks. It follows a deadly mass shooting in Virginia Beach last summer. Gun owners came to the state capitol to push back.
You need to be prepared to protect what's yours at all times. And that's life. That's this life that we live in.
With all of the threats and all of the terribly violent rhetoric that's going on right now, our main goal is not to engage with gun extremists today.
Students from March for Our Lives, the group that formed following the Parkland school shooting, slept inside lawmakers' offices last night and lobbied in the Capitol today.
Britain's Prince Harry has spoken publicly for the first time since he and his wife Meghan split with the royal family. He says they had no choice but to walk away to find a more peaceful life. At a charity event, the Duke of Sussex called the new royal arrangement a, quote, leap of faith. The royal divorce kicks in this spring. Harry and Meghan will no longer represent the Queen as they work to become financially independent. But freedom comes with a price. Gone are the royal titles, and the couple will reimburse taxpayers the $3.1 million used to renovate their Frogmore Cottage home near Windsor Castle. Harry, who served 2 tours in Afghanistan, says giving up the military titles he was awarded hurts the most.
Our hope was to continue serving the Queen, the Commonwealth and my military associations, but without public funding. Unfortunately, that wasn't possible.
Now, many are wondering what's next for the couple in building their own brand. Meghan could also go back to her day job as an actress. As for Harry, Prince won't hurt on his resume either.
Well, there's more at 4 when we come back. We'll head to the movies with our film critic, Will Loper.
Find out what Will thinks of the remake of Dolittle starring Robert Downey Jr. That's when Live at 4 continues.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
At Harker
Delta Airlines giving back to its employees. The airline giving its workers 2 months extra pay as a bonus for the company's strong performance in 2019. It's part of the company's profit-sharing program. Delta announced it's giving workers $1.6 billion in bonuses. That'd be pretty nice, wouldn't it? That means every eligible employee will get a check next month for nearly 17% of their annual salary. Delta says the payout is a record amount for Delta, and the 6th straight year it has paid out more than $1 billion to workers. At 3 airports across the United States, the CDC is now on guard.
More than 100 officials in San Francisco, Los Angeles, and New York are screening incoming passengers from Wuhan, China, to detect the deadly coronavirus. Since Friday, the number of known infections in Asia has quadrupled, with cases confirmed in China, Thailand, Japan, and now South Korea, which reported its first case this morning. Authorities say most of the cases linked back to a now shuttered animal and seafood market in Wuhan. U.S. health officials are concerned this rapid spread could mimic the massive SARS outbreak in the early 2000s, which resulted in 774 deaths in 29 countries. But so far, it does not appear this disease is easily transmittable between people.
If the virus turns out to be readily transmissible from human to human, then we'll have a much larger problem on our hands.
Chinese nationals are also expected to make an estimated 3 billion trips starting this weekend through mid-February to celebrate the annual Chinese Lunar New Year, which could make the virus harder to contain. Public health authorities are already working on ways to fight off the epidemic. Well, much to our disappointment, boy, that's the understatement of the year, isn't it? It will be the San Francisco 49ers versus the Kansas City Chiefs in Super Bowl 54, February 2nd in Miami.
The 49ers beat the Packers in last night's NFC Championship game. Kansas City also punched their ticket to the championship behind quarterback Patrick Mahomes. The 24-year-old led the Chiefs to their first Super Bowl since Richard Nixon was in the White House. In San Francisco, the 49ers easily got past the Packers en route to claiming their division trophy, up 27-zip at the half. Now, the team's last Super Bowl appearance was back in 2013 when they lost to the Ravens behind then quarterback Colin Kaepernick. Last season, the 49ers, by the way, they only won 4 games.
But Matt LaFleur had a good showing first year as head coach.
Yeah, I don't think people expected him to win 14 games, so that's good, but you know, Aaron Rodgers' time's ticking, right?
I'm trying to find the silver lining.
Yeah. His brother's going to the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, researchers are expressing some caution about the possible danger that marijuana poses for the heart.
This as more states legalize marijuana. A new review from Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston finds that smoking pot carries many of the same cardiovascular risks as smoking tobacco. The study also found marijuana use in any form can interfere with certain cardiovascular medications, including blood pressure drugs, cholesterol-lowering drugs like statins and blood thinners.
Many people, they feel that it is completely safe. And the reality is, and that's what we're beginning to expose with research like this and reviews, is that it may in fact not be harmless.
Because of federal laws, research on marijuana has been severely limited. The authors are calling for more studies, but until then, they say there is enough evidence right now for concern.
We've no choice but to embark on this perilous journey.
Everyone pack your bags! You can talk to animals.
Somehow, we just belong together.
That was a clip from the movie Dolittle, one of the newest films to hit theaters. Is it worth seeing? Here to let us know what he thinks is our film critic, Will Loper. Hi, Will.
Hi, Susan.
So this is the 3rd remake of this?
Yes, it's the 3rd adaptation of this Dolittle story, and I gotta say they did not nail it with this one. It's a mishmash of a story, no shortage of lame one-liners from CGI animals. It makes this a truly baffling movie, but more importantly, not a very good one. So we begin with Emma Thompson as a parrot, narrating that Dolittle, played by Robert Downey Jr., lost his wife years ago and decided to reject humanity, instead living in seclusion as a bearded hermit with his menagerie of animals he can talk to that include a gorilla, a fox, and a giraffe. But when the queen is about to die and he will lose his estate if she does, he embarks on an adventure at sea to find a tree that has a magical healing fruit. Now, along the way, we get all sorts of awkward action with the CGI animals and plenty of John Cena as a polar bear saying things like, "I'm coming, bro," in the year 1820. Now, apparently this movie had all kinds of extensive reshoots in an effort to make it sillier and more appealing to younger filmgoers, and you can certainly feel when things were redone. Plenty of scenes or shots feel out of place or tacked on. Things get confusing, and yes, there are plenty of animals running and jumping and making bodily function jokes that'll keep younger audiences entertained, but really, any other movie will be better than this. Take them to Frozen 2 or Spies in Disguise instead.
Oh, that's unfortunate to hear because it has all of the ingredients. It has a powerhouse cast voicing the animals, right?
Yeah, we had all kinds of big names, Octavia Spencer, Rami Malek, Kumail Nanjiani, and it just flops. It just does not work.
So the reshoots meant that at first it started to be more serious, and then they realized this is a movie that needs to appeal to kids, and that's why they did the reshoots?
Yes, exactly. And I think you really feel like all kinds of studio execs' hands on the project. Everyone's trying to put input in, and then in the end, it's just a jumbled mess. It doesn't work at all.
Yeah, that never works.
No.
All right, what was your rating?
This one, 2 bagpipes out of 5. Doolittle pulls these out of a dragon's, well, I'd rather just not mention where he pulls it from.
Oh, only 2. Oh, that's not a good one. Not a good one. Okay, what's coming up next week?
I'm hopeful. It's The Gentleman. It's Guy Ritchie back doing like a crime caper comedy. So fingers crossed.
Okay, better luck next week.
Yes.
All right, Will, thanks so much.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
It's
Well, take a look at this. A toddler is tutoring his younger brother on an escape plan. Eric, you'll love this. Could have been your boys. 4-year-old Flynn and 22-month-old Arthur are supposed to be sleeping at their home in England, but they have a slumber party. They're having a slumber party instead. Flynn is showing his younger brother how to get out of the crib on his own. He's put the teddy bears and the blankets down for a soft landing. But Arthur isn't so sure about this plan of attack. Eventually, Flynn decides his younger brother needs a little help and literally shoves him out of the crib.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, no, and onto
totally
the
what my
floor.
kids
This
would
is
do.
totally boys.
Just
isn't
launch
it?
the brother out.
Flynn initially denied helping his sibling until he was shown the video evidence, and then he laughed and confessed. Just wait till
Guilty.
they're teenagers.
Yeah, they really body slam each other when they get older. Hey, look at this. Why don't you read the bump?
Oh, look
at
at
that
that
face.
face. It's coming up next segment, but we couldn't wait.
Yeah, so anyway, what are we supposed to talk about with you?
Talking
We
about?
got a little distraction here.
We have about a puppy's worth of snow on the ground right now coming through, and now we're expecting the colder air to stay with us. Don't cry
Trying
over
to muzzle
that.
him a little bit.
Well, we've got sunshine right now, and sunshine for your Tuesday. We're here for
Scared of Eric, you sweet
He's like Canopy. He won't be quiet.
All right, if you stay with me for about 3.5 more minutes, we'll get back over to the puppy right now. So it's really nice outside. We're expecting these temperatures to stay seasonally cold. It feels like January. We're stepping out the door. We have nice sunshine for, of course, the next 10 minutes or so before sunset. And then Tuesday for tomorrow, also looking pretty quiet outside. Most of Wednesday stays quiet, but then the snow is going to creep back in to end the week. We aren't expecting a lot of accumulation, but we'll be tracking our next opportunity for a little snow and a little mixed precipitation coming on through. High pressure just off to the west. west has kept things quiet today throughout most of the plains and southern Wisconsin. We're going to stay quiet for tonight and for your Tuesday. Plan on partly cloudy skies overnight. Our breeze stays pretty light and variable. For Tuesday, we get mostly sunny skies. It's actually going to feel pretty good outside with the sunshine and temperatures close to average for Tuesday afternoon. Wednesday morning, the clouds build back in, and then our next chance for some light snow will start to come and build in for Wednesday afternoon. Notice that breeze from the south. Temperatures for Wednesday afternoon are going to climb up just a little higher than on Tuesday. So a wider look here at this system, still ironing out the exact timing as we still have a few more days to really look ahead to Thursday and Friday. But for Wednesday, this starts to build in the afternoon. We're looking at light snow, some flurries possible, light snow overnight into Thursday morning. Thursday, we continue to see that light snow. Again, not a big accumulation event, just that snow coming through. And then for Friday, we might see a little mixed precipitation. Seems like it's going to stay pretty far south, but we always keep a close eye on where that line is going to cross over, whether or not it's going to start to impact the Wisconsin-Illinois state line. But at this time, it still looks like Friday. We're looking at light snow in the morning, and the afternoon, that snow starts to taper on off. So again, just some light snow for the rest of the week, but we'll be keeping a close eye on the possibility for some mixed precipitation for areas south of Madison. Tonight, temperatures are going to drop to the single digits. We're expecting a partly cloudy sky. It'll be a little cold in the morning with a light and variable breeze, so we aren't looking at any aggressive wind chills coming through for tonight. For tomorrow afternoon, temperatures will be pretty close to average in the mid-20s with mostly sunny skies, just continuing on this cold weather trend as we head into your Tuesday. Again, seasonably cold outside. Wednesday, a little bit warmer with some southern air coming through, low 30s on Wednesday. Plan on some flurry chances developing and then light snow at night, as you just saw. Heading into Thursday, the chance for some snow starts to stay for Thursday and Friday. We may be watching that mixed precipitation line south of Madison for Thursday and Friday, in the mid-30s for Thursday and Friday. And for Saturday and Sunday, heading into the following week, temperatures are going to continue to stay very seasonable in the mid to low 30s with overnight lows in the 20s. Not too chilly outside, and only one real opportunity for snow coming in for the end of the week. That's a quick look at your forecast.
All right, Dana, thank you. It's time now to meet our pet of the week here on Live at 4.
That's right. We gave you a little sneak peek of this little pup a little bit ago. Marissa DeGroot from Dane County Humane Society is here now to help Atka, a 3-month-old terrier mix, find a forever home. Hi, Marissa.
Hi, hello.
Tell us about Atka.
Oh my gosh, how can you not fall in love with this face?
I think he sees himself on TV there.
Just under 3 months old, some sort of terrier mix, so he's still got a little bit of growing to do.
Now, he has pretty big paws, so how big do you think he'll get?
It's hard to tell since we don't know exactly what he is, but he'll grow until he's about 12 months old, so got a little bit longer to keep going. But we don't know exactly what mix he is because he actually came up from an overcrowded shelter down in Mississippi. We got a bunch of dogs up from that shelter in Mississippi, and now he is looking for a great new home.
Every once in a while you guys get those. What is it that leads to that?
There are a lot of shelters down there that are overcrowded. They're having a lot more litters of puppies just because of their weather too. It's a little warmer year round, and so we're fortunate that we're able to bring up a lot of those dogs every week actually, and they're finding homes so quickly.
Now, what if you were thinking of adopting Atka? What are some of the things you want people to know?
Well, you definitely need to be ready for some high energy puppy play because he is a fun-loving guy. He's going to need a lot of time to run around, but also a family devoted to maybe helping him with some training. He's a very smart boy, but needs a little more work on his manners.
Yeah, he's just a baby.
Yes, he's just a baby.
Now, you had this weekend, a lot of people come through and look at some of the other dogs that have come up from Mississippi.
Yep, we had a lot of adoptions this weekend. Unfortunately, this little guy didn't get that very many looks. He can have a bit of a boisterous voice on him.
You said it was when he was in the crate. Not so much.
Yeah, back in the kennel. But it's probably something to be aware of. So if you live in an apartment or something, maybe not quite the right fit for you. Then.
Okay, that's good to know. That's very good to know. And you have your Toto's Gala coming up soon.
Yep, and tickets are available now. Toto's Gala is coming up on Friday, March 13th, and you can get those tickets now. That is such a fun event over at Monona Terrace. You get to meet puppy greeters, have some cocktails, dinner. Here's some great stories about the shelter, and it's all supporting animals in need, just like Atka here.
Atka's done a good job. I think he's behaved well enough. Well, maybe. I don't want to
He's
speak
like,
too
now
soon.
it's playtime.
He's done well to sell himself a little bit. Tell us a little bit about last week's pet.
Mama. Yes, we had Bunny Mama, and she did get adopted. We're so excited for her.
Oh, that's wonderful. And this is kind of bittersweet for us because this is your last appearance with us on Live at 4.
It is, but it's been a wonderful 4.5 years, and I'm excited to go out with just the sweetest pup, too. Look at this guy.
You're moving on to a new adventure, but we have loved working with you. It's been wonderful, and I know you're going to love your new job, and you'll be very successful. We're looking forward to your replacement here on the show.
Yep, we're excited. They're going to keep bringing on pets in need.
Yeah, it's an important thing, and we do appreciate you helping adopt so many pets through the year with your performance.
Atka, you're selling it. You're selling it.
All right, if you're interested in adopting or checking out other animals at the Dane County Humane Society, go to giveshelter.org. Check out the pets there that are available on the website, or you can set up an appointment, 838-0413.
Thanks, Marissa. Good luck to you. There's more to come tonight at 4 when we come back. Tips on how you can get back on track with your New Year's resolution.
I've never
your little
wavered. I'm still going strong. Okay, maybe a few beers during the Packer game.
Yeah,
okay,
right.
all right. Tonight at 5, nearly 9 out of 10 parents, still thinking Packers, parents say their teenagers spend too much time playing video games. We'll share some tips from experts on how to limit that time.
That's a beautiful shot of campus, isn't it? A little wintry scene there of the UW Memorial Union Terrace.
Looks like January.
Yep, lake's frozen over now. And nice to see the sunshine today. Okay, so You started off the new year, as we all did, with the best of intentions.
But those New Year's resolutions you made are now maybe history. So what do? UW-Madison clinical professor and author Dr. Christine Whalen is back with us to help save the day.
Hi, Christine. Good to
Hi
see
there.
you.
Good to be back.
So,
Happy New Year.
You as well. And this is always kind of a restart date for us, really, is what
It
New
is.
Year's is with these resolutions, right?
Yes, so we have all these great intentions to totally change our lives. And now we're about 3 weeks in, and for a lot of people, it probably isn't going so well. How are you guys doing?
Well, I mean, we're doing okay.
Yeah, it's easy to stick with them when you don't make any New Year's resolutions.
Yeah, we're having no problem at all.
But it's true. 3 weeks in, you start with all of this energy, and it just wanes over time.
You do, and so a lot of us beat ourselves up, and we say, every year we try and we fail, and then we just say, oh, I've just quit it all, and I'm going to go back to all my bad habits, right? So there's lots of research telling you all sorts of different things. So the first big new research is this debate about why don't we succeed in our resolutions. Is it a matter of willpower? So a lot of the conventional wisdom was that willpower, the ability to say no, the ability to make the right decision, that was like a muscle, right? And so, you work out the muscle and you have more willpower, you get stronger. But also, like if you move a couch and somebody asks you to lift something, it's going to be hard to do it after you've exerted that muscle, which is the explanation for we eat really well all day long, and then we get home after a long day at work, and then there's that snack cabinet that calls us, right? And our willpower is down. So the new research is suggesting, no, it's actually all in our heads in a different way. If you think you have willpower, you will have more willpower. It's like the power of positive thinking.
Interesting.
If you think that your willpower will wane as the day goes on, then you're going to hit the snack cabinet.
From an eating standpoint, though, it's brutal to try to do, to eat better. Right after Christmas, we're putting all this pressure. Oh, let's go through Christmas and eat all these sweets that we tend to eat, and then boom, on this crazy change.
So I am right there with you, and so here's what I did. I hosted a big New Year's party, and I brought all of my sweets and treats out at the New Year's party. Anything people didn't eat left the house. It was gone. So there is that, that line, lead us not into temptation. This is really a thing when it comes to setting boundaries. Clear, bright lines are the way that we follow rules, right? So if you don't have it in the house, you are much less likely to get in the car and go get it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So keep it out of the house. And really setting up, the other real big thing is, if you're gonna say yes to something new, you're gonna add something to your life, like more exercise, you have to think about what you're gonna take away. Right? And we often don't think about that. But every time we add something new to our lives, it's going to take time. And even if you're just sleeping or relaxing, right? It takes time. So are you going to get less sleep? Are you going to do less work? What are you going to do less of to do more of whatever it is that you want to do? That's an important step to keeping on track.
So there really is no surefire strategy for success, is there?
There isn't, but I think one of the real things is to be kind to yourself, because if you are 3 weeks in and it's not going so well, there's always Chinese New Year that's coming up, right? And you can
start over.
Exactly. You can have a restart. There really doesn't have to be any particular day or any season. The idea is to think about what matters most to you, why it matters, and then give yourself as much love as you can as you're trying to make it happen.
And I think the way you approach it is realistic, that over a year, you're trying to make healthier choices over a long period of time. Right.
It is true. Although setting some milestones along the way really helps. And if we have a boost of self-efficacy, that sense that we can do it, we're more likely to be able to continue on in a trend. So if you can have that win, if you can feel like, oh, I've lost a couple pounds, or oh, I've hit my exercise goal every week for this month, then you can say, gosh, I am now redoubling my efforts to keep going because I know I can do it.
Or it's only 345 days till you can start a new resolution. So you can already start planning ahead to 2021.
I like your attitude.
You have willpower.
I like your attitude.
I love that. Christine, great to see you.
Good to see you, too.
See you soon.
Thanks.
There's more at 4 when we come back. There are 2 upcoming election days here in Wisconsin.
The Madison City Clerk is with us today. We're going to answer some of the most frequently asked questions about voter ID before you head to the polls. That's when Live at 4 continues.
No accidents to report right now. Traffic actually in a pretty good spot for Monday. I think a lot of folks again not having to head into work today. Here's a live look at the Beltline at Park Street, east and westbound, going fairly smooth right now. Still have a little bit of light. It's not too dark outside just yet. Again, we're not even seeing delays along the Beltline. A few delays northbound on Fish Hatchery Road, but downtown looks nice and smooth. Middleton looks good as we look over along 12. If you're heading up towards Baraboo, things are all nice and smooth, even around Prairie du Sac and Sauk City, and bouncing down to Janesville. No delays right now. The interstate smooth all the way down to the state line. From Janesville to the Beltline, it'll be about 25 minutes, 17 minutes to get from Sauk City to Middleton, and the drive from Sun Prairie to downtown at about 14 minutes this evening. That's a quick look at traffic.
All right, Dana, thank you. A dazzling lantern show is lighting up a city in China to celebrate the upcoming Chinese New Year. The show opened up this weekend. It wowed visitors with huge, bright-colored lanterns decorating the ancient city walls. The show consists of 5 parts, which have different themes, covering areas such as the ancient city's history, the landscape around the country, and a dream world for children. Advanced technologies like augmented reality will be applied to the show to present a visual feast to the audience. And you see all the rats. It's the year of the rat this year. So that's a big part of it as well. Well, mark your calendars because there are 2 election days coming up in Wisconsin.
Now, this is such an important segment. The spring election, February 18th, State Supreme Court, Court of Appeals, judge, district court judge in several counties will all be on the ballot.
And of course, Wisconsin's presidential primary is coming up April 7th. The City of Madison Clerk's Office would like voters to know the answers to some of the most frequently asked questions about voter ID. Maribeth Witzel-Beal is the Madison City Clerk. She's with us today on Live at 4. Welcome, Maribeth. Good to see you. So let's first talk about the big issue that's been the subject of some controversy about whether you've moved recently, and the list of voters that may be purged.
Yeah, some 200,000 people in Wisconsin, right?
Yes.
So what's the latest on that?
Well, there's still a court battle going on over the potential voter purge. And so it's important that everybody, whether you've moved or not, check their voter registration online. And you can do that really simply at myvote.wi.gov. When you check your registration, all you have to enter is your name and your date of birth. And then you're looking for the site to say you are registered to vote, but then you also want to check, is the address listed for me up to date? If it is up to date, great. If not, you want to update your registration. But you also want to check whether there's a green box on the screen that says confirm your address. If it says confirm your address, that means you were a part of that mover mailing and you're at risk of being purged from the list. So you would want to click on that green button to confirm your address if it's accurate.
And once again, that website is?
myvote.wi.gov.
Yeah, so important. So your ID, a lot of people talk about ID, voter ID now in Wisconsin.
Right.
It does not have to match your address, or it does?
Not at all.
Right.
What you're proving with your ID at the polling place is your identity, and your identity stays the same even if you move. So your driver license or your Wisconsin ID might have an old address on it, and that's okay. You're still able to use that ID to prove your address or to prove your identity at the polls. Your address would have already been proven when you registered to vote.
Okay. So what forms of identification do you want to take with you when you go to your polling place?
The most common type we see would be the Wisconsin driver license or Wisconsin ID card. But other than that, you could use a military ID, a U.S. passport, a college ID if it meets certain requirements. If you're a UW-Madison student, you want to use the Madison voter ID card available from Union South. Your WISC card would not work.
The WISC card would not work. Okay,
That's right.
That's good to know.
A lot of people don't have IDs and they need to go get them. What do you recommend to those folks? There's a lot of places where they can go and they got to act now, right?
Right. You want to take care of that as soon as possible, but it can be overwhelming.
Right.
There's so many documents that are required. And so if you need to get a Wisconsin ID and you want to know that out-of-state IDs do not work under Wisconsin's voter ID law. So for those who need to get a Wisconsin ID, there is free help available, including a free cab ride to the DMV. And so you'd want to call the voter ID hotline. This is a coalition of the Dane County League of Women Voters and the NAACP of Dane County. And they have a hotline, 285-2141. And call that number. You can get free help in getting your ID.
You have a very busy spring ahead.
Yes, you do.
We really appreciate you stopping by to share. This is so important. If there's any other service that's more important, I don't know what it is. So thank you so much for stopping by.
Great to see you.
All right, we'll be right back. All right, Dana's back. Look at the forecast.
So we're looking at a really pleasant day for tomorrow. If you enjoyed today, similar conditions for your Tuesday. Here's a live look at the sunset. Yeah, we have a really pretty sunset right now.
Cold.
Oh, that's only because everything's frozen right now. Everyone out on the ice. It is cold outside, frozen on up. Doppler's nice and quiet. We don't have anything new moving on in, so nice look at that sunset again if you are traveling anywhere tonight. We are expecting things to stay cold. Right now we're partly sunny. We'll steadily become partly cloudy for overnight. And things should be pretty smooth on the roads. No traffic right now.
Everybody's home.
All. Everyone's at home.
Getting
Things
that
pick
day
up
off.
tomorrow.
Yeah. All right, Dana, thank you. Here's what's coming up tomorrow on Live at 4. We're taking a look at some of the best direct flights from Madison and also how to know what streaming service is best for you.
Consumer Reports breaks it all down tomorrow on the next Live at 4.
Hi, I'm